Babies are born with a desire to understand the world around them, and they test everything, and you too, with an intense curiosity that compels them to aggressively explore. All babies gather information by testing environments like little scientists. Sensory observation is the first thing they do. Wow, look at this beautiful little bee here. And then a baby forms a hypothesis. I wonder what would happen if I touched this little bee. Mm-hmm. And then after that, they design an experiment so they can test their hypothesis. Ah, what the did you sting me for, bro? What the hell? Babies use a series of increasingly self-corrected ideas to find out how the world works. A newborn can imitate anything. Newborn is capable of imitation. A man by the name of Andy Miltzoff sticks his tongue out a baby just for 42 minutes old. And that baby does the unthinkable. He sticks his tongue out back. Disrespectful babies. Alright, Medina tests this by doing the same thing with his son Noah, in which he quickly learns to stick out his tongue. Medina just created a means of communication through imitative action. This is when Noah adapts to his surroundings and acknowledges his tongue. Although Noah does not know what a tongue is, he still is aware of its existence. Medina's son ends up learning how to get a reaction out of his parents using this form of communication, eventually learning more from his actions and further experimenting with new ideas.
So, babies will try and analyze an object through many different methods, such as tasting it, seeing if it makes a noise when they hit it against a wall at really high speeds, or how it looks. Like, they see a ball, they're gonna like squeeze it, bite it, grab it, whatever, and they'll keep trying to do these small experiments to see how the object functions and what it does.
Ruben, where'd you go? Ruben?
Peekaboo!
Oh!
Peekaboo!
Wait a minute. Oh no, you're just behind your hands.
Alright, I bet you're wondering why we just played that intense game of peekaboo, huh? Well, that was an example of object permanence. As you can see, Brandon was the one that gained object permanence. A baby, when they are first born, do not have the understanding that if they can't see something, it's there. They think that if it's gone, if they can't see it, not in their field of vision, it's completely like vanished. And when a baby gains object permanence, it realizes that just because they cannot see an object, it's still there.
So 18 months old, your preferences aren't the same as mine. Basically, it's when a child is 14 months of age through 18 months of age, they go through something very extraordinary. They believe that basically the whole world is theirs, and this is something called toddler's creed. Pretty much it's just like they believe the whole world's theirs. Another thing, toddlers under the age of 2 like to do their exploration by test. These tests aren't like a quiz or something. It's more or less like they tend to test their parents by defying what the parents tell them not to do. They usually do the complete opposite, and this is where the parents believe that their kids are becoming kind of like defiant. But it's just a way to see how far they could push their boundaries. This is basically just to see what their reaction will be like. They repeat basically the same experiment just to see how far they can get without getting in trouble. It's just something weird kids like to do around this age. Babies reveal more of their brain secrets each year. Why do babies stick their tongues back at you? These are kind of like some concepts of imitation, a simpler thinking behavior that children like to do. Also, each of these are kind of like primal instincts. So you see these these reactions of imitation and stuff like that in monkeys, and it's basically caused by a mirror neuron, which is basically just it's a neuron that that causes like the cells to actively reflect their surroundings. These mirror neurons are responses um, that are usually remarkably subtle, so they're not that crazy. A sense of wonder is simply just a story about a man and his son who walked on a street, and the son's observing little things and finding it super interesting and laughing and stuff. But what the dad is noticing is that basically what the son is just doing was just trying to show him the importance of curiosity. And then he goes on to say how if we all started over with curiosity being the most vital part of like what we focus on, like maybe we would be in a better like situation mentally and stuff.
Oh, hi, didn't see you there. Did you know, throughout our lives, we will always remain learners, and no matter whether you're 60 or 12, you can learn the same way? Some parts of the human brain, throughout adulthood, will remain exactly as malleable as it was when you were a baby. And throughout your life, you can experience anything and do anything, learning from it constantly.
Shalom, class. So today I'm going to be talking about curiosity and exploration, just like the past couple of clips you just saw. So, curiosity, it should be encouraged with a passion. Just as Medine's mother, is it Medina? Something like that. It doesn't matter. He put an example of when he was growing up, he'd have interests in like dinosaurs or space or math, whatever came up, and his mom would always encourage it by transforming his home into a knowledge center for whatever his interests were. It's amazing, right? And unfortunately today, some schools destroy this curiosity, okay? Because they make you focus more on the letter grade rather than actually knowing something. Good to see you again, class. Continuing on with curiosity and how it should be a passion of everybody's. Did you know that some companies such as Google, Gentech, and 3M give 15 to 20% of their employees work time to just doing whatever interests them, just finding anything? And you think, oh, that seems like a waste of time? The proof is in the pudding. Did you know that Gmail, Google News, and AdSense all came from this 15 to 20% time that Google gave their employees? Did you know that the modern Western lecture hall has been the same since the 11th century? Doesn't that seem like a long time to have like a standard of teaching when we know so much more about the brain and how it learns now? Let's look at medical schools, for instance. They have a learn on the job type of schooling. Doctors will teach med students in a hospital while they're doctoring around with patients, you know? And then they also have a lecture hall as well as a lab where the students can go to explore what interests them and look into research and just use their minds, man.